Hi, this is Didier Besala with my stress interviews assignment. I was able to interview three people, one male and two female. The first one, a male, is my roommate. He's married, he lives with his wife, and I asked him about his personal sources of stress, and he gave me three. The first one he mentioned was work. Work, he works from home now since the pandemic started, and he says it's something that he hasn't been able to manage properly yet, and he's still finding or looking for ways of getting his job done uh, in a timely fashion, and also keep up with quality work, not being easily distracted. The second one he mentioned was family. He been married for, I believe he said, 15 years now. Uh, they haven't been able to have kids, and that's something that stresses him out a lot. Although the reason is, you know, medical related. He said it's something that stresses him out a lot, and he has to live with it daily. And yeah. The third one that he mentioned was, I would say, a personal business. It's kind of like financial uh, related. As he said, he has his own personal business, and he says he hasn't been working that well because he's spending more than he's getting from the business. And since the pandemic started, the business was closed, and now you only got one source of income, and he still has to pay the rent for the business location, and that is something that stresses him out a lot, and he's thinking about just closing the business because he's not benefiting from it. And I asked him like, how does he manage all the stress? The first thing that he said was prayer. He's a very devoted Christian. He said like having Bible study with his church members, and just reading his Bible on his own. It helps him, you know, release stress. The second one he mentioned is also religion related. Uh, he said he liked to listen to Christian music. He also a performer himself. He had all those equipment, and him and his wife, they sing all the time. They perform all the time, even here at home, and it's really cool to watch. The third one that he mentioned is taking his dog to the park, playing with his dog. They have no kids, obviously, so he spent time with his dog, going to the park, playing with him, and all that. That he also help him release stress and cope with the fact that he has no kids. Uh, the third one that he mentioned is walking at his garden with his wife, and that one I've witnessed that myself, and it's very enjoyable to watch. Seeing them walking out the garden, laughing, talking, it's really nice to see. It's so adorable. Yeah, you can tell they're having a lot of fun. And he said that was another way for him to release that stress. Yeah. Any similarity that I saw with what I learned in chapter 10? Yeah. Um, like taking the dog to the park, you know, uh, having that personal time, having a quality time that one will have with the kids. He's having it with his dog. Uh, Also, prayers, that's some sort of meditation. Yeah, and it's parallel to what I learned in chapter 10. Working at his garden with his wife. That's a life-changing uh, technique, strategy. Having that strong bond, the developing, satisfying relationship uh, with your partner, your wife. Yeah, that's another technique from chapter 10. Two techniques that I suggested to him. The first one was exercising. Since he liked taking his dog to the park and playing around with it, I also suggest him he can just walk around. If he can run or just walk, and that also is natural. It helps release stress, and that at the same time is also beneficial for his health, like his heart health. That's one that I suggested to him, and the second one that I suggested to him was the relaxation. Yeah, the relaxation. He already doing it through the prayers, but I also suggested him like some abdominal breathing that he can practice, and also um, second one, yeah, um, yoga, that he can practice that as well. That's the second one that I suggested to him. Yeah, it's also another, uh, strategy of releasing stress. The second person that I interview is a friend of mine. It's a lady. I've known her for some time now. We first met at school, and we've been friends since then. I asked her about her personal source of stress, and the first one she mentioned was a physical appearance. She has a few extra pounds that really stress her out a lot. Uh, she's been trying to, lose some weight, but it hasn't been working, and that really stress her out a lot because she wanna, you know, she says she feels like she's not doing enough for her own health, and that stress her out, and also that she really care about her physical appearance, but she feels like she's not doing much, and that's stressing her out. Yeah. The second one that she mentioned was work. She's also work from home now since the COVID-19 pandemic started, and it's hard for her to have her kids around and getting some work done. Like they don't really give her a break, and she said it's stressing her out and it's affecting her performance, and that stress her out. The third one that she mentioned is her relationship. She's having couple issue with her fiance. Um, we really didn't get into that what type of issue she having, but yeah, she mentioned that. And the last one that she mentioned was not performing well at school. Being a mom, working and going to school is something that's really affecting her grade because she doesn't have enough time to get her school assignment done and produce a quality work. And that's stressing her out a lot. Then I asked her, how does she manage all those stressors? She said she does yoga, which is a form of relaxation, taking a walk to the park, going to the beach, just sitting there on the sun, looking at the ocean for a couple hours, feeling that breeze from the ocean, that it helps her release the stress. She says she likes listening to music. That's another way of another getaway for her. The fourth one that she mentioned, I really didn't see it as a stress management. She said she likes cleaning her house, and that is it helps her release the stress. Well, if that works for her, fine, but I really didn't see it as a stress management technique. The last one that she mentioned was spending time with her friends. You know, going out with her friends, having a drink. That it also help her release some stress. Some similarity with the class, what I learned in chapter 10. You know, there was not really a lot, but taking a walk at a park, it's some form of exercising and spending time with a friend. That's laughter and humor. Just having quality time, laughing about anything, having fun. Yeah, what I suggest to her, the first one was a lifestyle, the lifestyle change. Uh, you know, she needs to get some, have enough sleep, which she complained about, but yeah, hasn't been able to have like enough sleep because of responsibility. That is hard. Yeah, and I also suggested her to develop like a satisfying relationship with her fiance. That will help her a lot, and that she also should improve her time management because that's something she's complaining about all the time. She doesn't have enough time to get this done. She doesn't have enough time to get that done. The second one that I suggested to her, that I explained to her, was the exercising. Uh, she needs to do a little more, like getting like 30 minutes, at least 30 minutes a day, since she's so stressed out about her physical appearance and she's trying to lose some weight. I suggested her to put herself into it because it's not only beneficial to release the stress, it's also good for her health, for the health of her heart. Those are the two that I explained to her and I suggested that she should try. The third person that I interview is my coworker, a lady. Uh, she's a single mother. Yeah, and the personal sources of stress that she mentioned to me. The first one was family responsibility that is stressing her out a lot. She's struggling with being able to provide for her kids all the time and make sure that they're doing well, and that is stressing her out because she feels like she needs some uh, support, she needs some help, and yeah. Um, the second one that she mentioned is dealing with a coworker who never appreciate the work that she does. She said that sometimes she make a small mistake, or maybe she get to work late, and the supervisor is screaming at her, and sometimes just disregard all the hard work she's putting in her department, and just look at a few mistakes that she made, to make a big deal out of it, and that stress her out a lot. The third one that she mentioned is not getting enough sleep. She's doing two jobs just to provide for her kids, and that doesn't give her enough time to sleep. And the last one is the relationship. She says she hasn't been able to have a good relationship. She feel like everybody comes around her to abuse of her or for just one thing, the obvious, and that is stressing her out. She trying to figure what she's doing wrong and why people are always trying to take advantage of her. Yeah. So I asked her how does she manage all that. She says being alone, taking a glass of wine, and just relaxing. The second one, she says listening to music. The third one was practicing some yoga. Yeah, she's a very fit lady. Looking at her physically, she looks fit. Yeah. The fourth one she mentioned was spending time with family. And the last one is still related with the first one, like being alone, having her kids, spend weekends with her mother. That help her also have some time for herself and relax. Similarity with what I learned in chapter 10. The first one is the relaxation, the yoga. Yeah. And the second one that uh, that is also parallel to what I learned in chapter 10 is the lifestyle change. Seeking for support from others, getting support from others, and having getting help from her mother, looking after her kids. The third one is the laughter and humor. He says like spending time with her family, they have a lot of fun, a blast, joking, playing, laughing. Yeah. And what did I suggest to her? I suggested to relaxation. I mean, like a technique, mechanism to her. The first one was, reframing. I tell her to learn to look on the bright side of everything that's happening in her life. Try to get the best out of everything. A technique that I've been trying to apply, myself. And also to learn to reframe the life stumbling blocks. Like she should learn from every obstacle. Also something that I'm practicing on my own. The second one that I mentioned to her, I explained to her, was the lifestyle changes. Uh, she needs to get enough sleep because what she was explaining to me is when she got her kids over her mom, she been going out. She been going out and having fun with her friends and still not getting enough sleep that she's complaining about. She really not told her that she need to work on that, getting enough sleep, especially when she can be on her own by herself. She should try to have enough sleep. The second one that I mentioned to her is reducing, uh, the alcohol, the use of alcohol. And she does mention that time the time she smoked too. That's what I suggested her to reduce all that if she cannot just, cut it. Those are the two uh, strategy that I suggested and explained to her. So, any specific observation from my three guests that I interviewed? Uh, Specific observation. I did admire my roommate because like if somebody looking at him, you can't really tell. I know everybody deal with stress, but he is really good at managing his stress. You cannot tell. Like just looking at him, you cannot tell this person is going through a lot. But in fact, he is. Just seeing how he manage it, how he's successfully does it. It's just amazing. And just looking around how he's living his life with his wife, you know, it's so motivating. Yeah. The second one, second guess, my friends. Any specific observation? I would say she's a little negligent, and she really needs to work on that. I always tell her that. Just getting like a right word to put it out to her, but she's kind of a bit negligent. Yeah, and she's not really doing enough. She's not doing enough. Like even the yoga she's saying, uh, It's not really that. Maybe one time, and then the kids around, she just gave up. Yeah. My third guest, my coworker, she's what I see right up front. She's a very strong woman. You can tell she's a very strong woman, and she's a hard worker. Uh, just some good stress management, uh, getting some, her priorities straight. I think she will, make it to the top. Yeah, and her stress management skills are not that great, but I believe like if she put herself into it, she can do it. Yeah, thank you.